So you want to own a cruise line. Picture it. A floating city longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall. 20 restaurants, a water park, an ice rink. 6,000 people who paid you, in advance, to be locked on a boat with you for a week. Sounds like a money machine. Stack people in, charge them for the cruise, repeat. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you start running the numbers. The ticket is almost the least important part of the business. So if selling cruises isn't really the business, what is? Here's the contradiction that runs through this entire industry. The company that sold you the vacation barely wants you to pay for the vacation. In fact, the cheaper you got that ticket, the happier they probably are. Promotional fares, last-minute deals, kids cruise free. None of that is generosity. It's bait, because the moment you walk up that gangway, the real business begins. Let's talk about the casino. On most ships leaving a US port, the casino floor stays dark, lights off, machines silent, for the first few hours of the cruise. Not because of maintenance, because of geography. Many coastal states ban gambling within a few miles of shore, so the ship just waits. It clears the boundary, usually somewhere around 3 nautical miles out, and the moment it does, the casino switches on like a slot machine coming out of sleep mode. You are now, legally, nowhere. Not in Florida, not in the Bahamas, just open water, which happens to be exactly where gambling becomes legal again. That 3-mile gap isn't an inconvenience the cruise line tolerates. It's a feature they built an entire revenue stream around, and the casino is just the most visible example. Drink packages, specialty restaurants, spa treatments, shore excursions. The photographer who somehow finds you on every staircase. That's where the real margin lives. Industry filings from the big players show that onboard spending, while a smaller slice of total revenue than ticket sales, runs at roughly double the profit margin of the cruise fare itself. Translate that. They'd almost rather sell you the ticket at a loss if it gets you on board to buy the $14 pina colada. So if the ship is basically a mall that floats, here's where it gets stranger. Look up who actually owns the ship, not the brand on the hull, the legal entity, and you'll find it's registered in Panama, or Liberia, or the Bahamas. Why would a company headquartered in Miami, run by Americans, sailing mostly American passengers, fly the flag of Liberia? Because the flag is a costume, and the costume comes with enormous tax and labor benefits. Under US tax law, income earned from international shipping by a foreign-flagged company is largely exempt from US corporate income tax. It's a provision originally designed for cargo ships, not floating resorts, but cruise lines qualify too. The result? Some of the largest cruise companies on Earth have paid effective US tax rates in the low single digits, sometimes near zero, for years at a time, despite generating most of their revenue from American customers. That's not a loophole they stumbled into. That's the business model. And the flag does more than dodge taxes. It also determines whose labor laws apply on board. A ship registered in Liberia, sailing in international waters, isn't bound by US minimum wage or overtime law, even though the captain might be Italian, the passengers American, and the ship currently docked in Miami. So crew members, largely recruited from the Philippines, Indonesia, and Eastern Europe, often work under contracts of 6 to 10 months, base wages that can run a few $100s a month, with the bulk of real income coming from tips. Many work 7 days a week for the length of the contract. None of this is illegal. It's all happening in a legal gray zone the ship was specifically built to occupy. Here's the deeper truth hiding under all of it. A cruise ship isn't really a hotel. It's a jurisdiction shopping machine that happens to have a buffet. Every choice, where it's flagged, where it's incorporated, where the casino turns on, where the private island stop happens to be, is chosen because some government somewhere will let the company do something another government won't. Speaking of private islands, Royal Caribbean has one in the Bahamas. So does Disney. So does Holland America. On paper, it's a relaxing beach day. In practice, it's the cruise line solving its last remaining leakage problem, the part of the trip where passengers might spend money on a local economy instead of the company that brought them there. Buy or lease the island, and every dollar spent on a daiquiri, a jet ski, or a cabana stays inside the same corporate ledger that sold you the cruise. It's vertical integration with a beach. Now here's the hidden incentive that explains why this entire structure exists the way it does, and it surfaced clearly in 2020. When COVID-19 shut down travel and the US government rolled out massive aid for struggling industries, airlines got billions. Cruise lines, despite operating largely out of US ports, employing thousands of Americans on land, and serving an overwhelmingly American customer base, were excluded from most of that aid, because legally, they're foreign companies. Same flag of convenience structure that saves them taxes in good years left them outside the safety net in the worst year the industry had ever seen. Carnival alone burned through roughly $1 billion a month just staying afloat with no revenue coming in, and had to raise emergency financing at double-digit interest rates to survive. The very arrangement built to minimize cost when things are good offers no protection when things go bad. That's the trade-off baked into the whole model. So, do you actually want to own a cruise line? Here's the honest answer. You're not buying ships. You're buying a stack of legal arbitrages bundled into one hull. A flag that lowers your taxes, a flag that loosens your labor obligations, a boundary line that turns on your casino, and an island that keeps tourist spending in-house. Layer onto that some of the highest fixed costs in travel. Ships now cost well over $1 billion to build, and the newest megaships carry more than 7,000 people each, and you've got a business that needs near total occupancy year-round just to break even. It's a business that looks like hospitality and operates like a hedge fund built on flags of convenience. You're not buying a vacation company, you're buying a 200,000-ton loophole. It just happens to have a midnight buffet.